Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Week in Review for our very first week in HCA 410 Healthcare Finance. Now, hopefully, you've watched the introduction video that's below this one. If you haven't, please stop, don't pass go, and spend a few minutes watching the introduction video. It's a more, I guess, holistic talk where I kind of walk through the syllabus about the entire course. The weekend reviews that I'll do every week for you are really kind of talking about what we're doing now, maybe recapping a little bit what we did in the previous week, and looking forward to any other major assignments. So this is kind of a much more smaller picture thing that we'll be doing throughout the entire run of the course. So it is very important that you watch all videos and you read everything that's within the course news. And here comes a nice little bonus for you. I'm going to have your first extra credit opportunity. And directly below this, you'll find a link to a quiz. It is a relatively simple quiz. It'll be worth 5 points, 5 bonus points. Please take that quiz. I think I'm going to have 3 to maybe 5 questions on the quiz. Might take you 3 to 5 minutes max to do. It'll be the easiest 5 points you'll have in this course, and they will be extra credit. So it's above and beyond the 1,000 points that were already scheduled for the course. So take that quiz, hit that link below, and do that and score your first extra credit opportunity. There will be perhaps 1 or 2 more extra credit opportunities as we go through this course, but take them as you get them. So there you go. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about this week. And I do want to address some of the questions that we've had. And looking at my text messages here, we've had Nicole has a very good question. Nicole wanted to know about this week. We do have a learning activity, which I'll go into here in a moment. And on that learning activity, I say show all of your work. And she wants to know if we can use the calculator, which I walk through in the videos. So watch the videos, use the calculator, okay? I hope to gosh you're not trying to solve those problems longhand. So use the calculator that I'm showing you in the videos. There'll be probably 3 different web resources that we're going to be using throughout the course. I'm going to introduce you to a few of them that are out there on the web that will make your life a lot easier in solving some of these problems. She wants to know, can I use the calculator to demonstrate my work? Absolutely, do that. If you know how to do a screen snippet, or if you have a PC-based product, if you are on Windows, it has the little screen snippet tool where you can just grab a little part of the image. You can do that. You can do a screen print. However you want to do that, you feel free to do a screen grab to show me that you input those various inputs in the calculator, and then you hit compute and you got your answer. That's all you need to do. If you want to get more fancy and write it all, by longhand, you can do that if you wish, but a screen grab will work just as fine as well. All right, just proving to me that you've actually done it and you were able to navigate the calculator. That's all I want to see. So there you go. There's working harder, not smarter. All right, well let me reduce my image. That was the only question so far that we've had this week. There is another thing I'd like to talk about as far as the structure of the course that I realized after I shot my video walking through the entire course I forgot to talk about. It's in the syllabus, so make sure you have printed that syllabus out and reviewed it. But I do want to bring it to your attention because it is kind of a big deal. And that is, we do have a 6-week format. And for those of you that have been in the program for a while, you know that most of our courses are 8 weeks. That is the course format that we prefer. Unfortunately, summer is a very, very compressed semester for us where we have a limited time, and even this summer happens to be a little shorter than our normal summers, so we even have less time. So really our only option to reduce the amount of stress to students was to offer 6-week courses because they offered the minimal overlap for those of you taking courses in the first and second 8 weeks or 6 weeks. You will have only 1 week of overlap. So some of you right now are going through 2 courses at the same time. You're starting this course and then you're doing another course. And normally that doesn't happen in our fall and spring semesters because There is no overlap. But again, summer, we are stuck with an overlap, and we're also sort of stuck with a even shorter time frame of 6 weeks. Keep in mind that any course that we offer here at the college, if it's a certain number of credit hours, it doesn't make a difference how long that course is, whether it's 1 week or 16 weeks. We have to deliver a fixed quantity of material. So think of it like weight, and that's basically what it is. If a 3 credit hour course weighs 100 pounds, whether it's 1 week or 16 weeks, it's still 100 pounds. We have to deliver 100 pounds worth of content. That means this 6 weeks will go very, very fast. That also means, kind of getting to my other point, is that we're going to have a couple of weeks where we're going to be doubling up on modules. So let's take a look at that. Right below my picture there, we can see the start dates, and I think I plugged those in. Yeah, I have. So in week 3, we are going to be doing actually, let's see, yeah, in week, let's say one, two, three, week 4. I'm sorry, week 4, we're going to be doing 2 modules. Also in week 5, we're also going to be doing 2 modules. So we're going to give you I guess the amount of content to which you paid for, which is 3 credit hours. We're going to give you that content. Now, I will say this, in those weeks, weeks 4 and 5, where we're doubling up, I am going to lean down, or I already have kind of leaned down the assignments in there from what we normally do. So I think, we're still making the course objectives, but I did try to strip out some things because I know that will be a little difficult on those weeks. So I have tried to lighten them up a little bit than our normal 8-week version. I will say that the difficulty will be, and again, to be honest with you, the difficulty is because since we are going so fast with this course, is really letting it soak in. That's where some of those extra exercises that we do in our course, I think helps with letting it soak in. But in making some choices here and trying to keep you sane through the process, I try to keep what I figured are the essential assignments that I think help retain and meet our course objectives. So know that you're probably going to struggle with letting it soak in because we just don't have that much soaking time. But I think you're still going to go away with those fundamentals that I talk about in the walkthrough video as far as the basics of this course and what I want you to go away with. All right, so there's that one point. I wanted to let you know we've got a couple of weeks in which we're going to be doubling modules. So kind of a look ahead of that. All right, so let's talk about this week. We've addressed the questions that we've already received, but this week is time value of money. This is so fundamental to everything that you're going to do in finance. It's really the foundation of finance is this concept of time value of money, that money has a value linked to time. If you go away with anything out of this entire course, it is time value of money because it really is the underpinning for almost any other financial decision that you're going to make in your profession and even in your personal life. When you're looking at anything that you're doing tied to money, whether it's a mortgage, purchasing a car, do you lease the car, do you buy the car, do you get a loan, do you get student loans, do you, um, I mean, it could even go as far as extrapolating what spouse do you marry? Do you look at some, do you want someone who has a certain level of projected income because you're going to need, I mean, quite frankly, money is important to functioning and raising a family. Can you survive on one income or two? All of that is linked to the concept of time value of money. So it is really a great skill to learn, and hopefully you'll get the basics down and even be able to play with some calculations on that. And that hopefully will help you emphasize and let that soak in about how time and money and it all plays together, present value, future value. And then we're going to build upon that as we go through the other modules and add kind of more sprinkles to the cake of time value of money. But it is the root of all of it. So that's what we're doing this week, time value money. You can tell I'm pretty excited about that one. Let me scoot this down a little bit so we can see some more of this. We have our readings and presentations. Please watch my lectures. I do think they help, and they'll help with the homework. So do take some time to run through those. We have a topic essay this week. Again, make sure that you're just reading what's required on there, and most students get the full points. It's if you have, basically the two recognized references, research. I ask for research references. Make sure they're just quality references. Okay, avoid Wikipedia, um, and just make sure they're good, solid references. Let me just talk for a moment about Wikipedia since I mentioned that. I actually love Wikipedia. Surprise! I love Wikipedia. I think it's great. I actually donate to them whenever they ask me for money. Well, they ask a lot, but at least once a year I donate it. I donate to Wikipedia. And here, I think it's a great resource to start, to where you start from. It gives you, in general, knowing that Wikipedia has sort of an open interface, open editing capabilities, and people can change it to whatever, their personal spin is on a topic. Knowing that going into it, that's critical. So as you're reading a Wikipedia article, knowing that it could be biased or influenced by outside sources, well, couldn't anything be that way? Now, peer-reviewed articles in general are supposed to be a little bit more above that, but even in a solid peer-reviewed article, you also have to be looking for bias, and you can find it in there as well. Wikipedia is obviously more raw. It can be much more biased, and even fraught with error. But it's a great place to start, I think. It's a great place to learn about a specific topic to kind of get a general foundation. I also look at the references within that Wikipedia article. Those can send me on nice trails, as I keep on looking references to references to references, and then they might find, excellent peer-reviewed sources within there. If it's a good Wikipedia article, it's going to have that. So I think it's a great place to start. So don't be don't be shy. Start with that, but just don't cite it and don't put it on your reference page. Use it as a foundation to start your journey into research is my recommendation. All right, so there's my Wikipedia piece on that. But just make sure that you are meeting the 5 paragraph essay format for this particular assignment. An introduction paragraph, what you're going to be talking about, 3 supporting paragraphs, and then a conclusion. And then you're all set. That's roughly, when you're said and done with that, is going to be about 1.5 pages, maybe 2. Uh, you don't have to go to 3. You can if you want to. That's up to you, but you should be more than one page. If you're at one page, you probably don't have fully developed paragraphs. That's probably one of the things that gets students the most is they have a paragraph with 2 sentences or one sentence, a one sentence paragraph. Make sure you have fully developed paragraphs and you have 5 of them, and you'll be all set with that. Um, so these are pretty much very doable points on the topic essays that we're going to have. We'll have a few more of those as we're going through the class, but they do take some time because you're writing basically a 2 page essay on a various topic. Let me just go one more thing. Go back to references. Usually students will text me, "Can I use my textbook as a reference?" Absolutely. So there's one of your references right there. Another little trick is to find another finance textbook out there. So you're pretty much always ready. You've got your 2 references. You've got this textbook and another one. Now, how can you find another finance textbook, especially in healthcare? Well, there's a bunch of them out there. And you could probably go to a library. You might be able to go to Google Scholar and find a finance textbook or a healthcare finance textbook. Might be a little bit out of print. Let's say, I don't know, let's say it's 10 years. Google Scholar seems to have stuff, but it seems to be a little bit older. But full versions, full textbooks. Well, some of these principles in finance, time value of money, doesn't change. That's same. Whether you had a textbook back when I was going to school or one now, that chapter is pretty much the same chapter. So use that. There you go. So there's a little tip as far as making your life easier, working smarter, not harder, having a couple textbooks at hand, and take care of your all of your reference needs for most of our topic essays that we're going to be having throughout the course. All right, so there's on that topic essay. Let's move on to our next part of Module 1, and we'll let that do some thinking here. The learning activity. Again, Nicole had that great question. Again, use screenshots if you like. I've had some students who have done it with pencil and paper. You can do that if you like. And in order to do pencil and paper, if you want to convert it to a JPEG or a PDF, totally up to you. All I ask is that please review the image before you upload it. If it's all fuzzy and out of focus, I can't grade it. So, a good camera, good cell phone, you're going to be able to take a nice clear picture. Just make sure it's a nice clear picture. And I'm happy to grade JPEGs or PDFs if you're kind of doing it pencil and paper method. All right, so there's that. Make sure you are doing the problems, not the questions. Occasionally, a couple students will always submit the wrong problem set or the wrong question set. Each back of the textbook, each end of the chapter, I should say, has two different question sets, has problems and questions. Just make sure you look, okay? You'll find them. I think the questions are first. The questions are usually generally more narrative, kind of short answer, short essay, and then the problems are generally mathy type stuff. So take a look at that. And when I say all, that means usually there's like a B, C kind of thing, with the question. So make sure you're doing, A, B, and C or whatever's listed for that particular problem. Okay. All right. So there you go. That's pretty doable as well. Kind of getting your feet wet and acclimated with the course. And I think that's all we have for this week. Double checking here. Yeah, that's all we have for this week. So, which is enough. You've got that two-page topic paper, and you've got the learning activity. That will be kind of a flow that we'll have throughout the entire course. Kind of a topic essay, and then a little learning activity on top of that. So there you go. Again, I have eliminated some assignments in here that are in our normal 8-week version just to keep your sanity, but also I feel very confident we're still going to meet the learning objectives for the course. All right, well, that concludes the weekend review for our very first week in finance. Um, Before I sign off, there was another little point. I had a little note to myself that I know that some of you are you're taking another course right now, and you might be a part-time student. And normally you do not have courses that overlap. Trust me, I'm a student as well. I hate it when they overlap. It kills me. So here's what I'm going to do. And hopefully you've listened to all the way through the end of this because this is important. I am going to extend the due dates for Module 1 until Wednesday of next week. I know some of you are in my accounting class. Some of you are in other classes that are finishing up this week. You might have finals, you might have major papers due. Sometimes that final week of a course is a little heavy. If that is happening right now for you, hopefully by me extending the due dates for this course, so for this course only, we're extending the due dates until Wednesday. So please feel free to use that if you need that. I want you guys to finish strong in your first 6-week courses if you are taking 6-week courses. If you're taking an 8-week course and you got some overlaps, this might help you a little bit, but I'm not going to be changing any other due dates throughout the course. Just for the folks that are kind of having kind of that more intense overlap, especially this week. All right, that concludes that. Make sure you take that test below for your extra credit. Okay, do that. Five easiest points you're going to have in this course. All right, well, that concludes the week in review for this week. And as always, thanks for watching.